Dragons, these large legendary creatures, appear in almost all cultures around the world. They are large snake-like creatures that can breathe fire, hence the title of Capcom's masterpiece. In most folklore, they're depicted as storm gods. They are the backbone of the Breath of Fire series. Ryu in most games is a dragon. In most cases, he doesn't know he is. His quest is always a quest of self-discovery. Whether he's a man from the Light Dragon clan fighting the Dark Dragon clan, whether he is born into the brood and battles a god, or if he's one half of a god and fights his other half, one thing is for sure, and that is that he shapes the world around him. Always pure of heart and a natural protector, when pushed, you don't want to be on the receiving end of his rage. In his most current adventure, he isn't born a dragon god. He is a blue-collared average Joe, below average Joe to be specific. He is chosen by Ajin, which is strange because of the D ratio difference between him and Boshe. Makoto wanted this dragon to be different from every other character in the game, and that is why he speaks Russian. The name Ajin in Russian is translated to the number 1. In Breath of Fire universe, the dragons are misunderstood. The people consider dragons evil.
Sorry, honey. Bad dream.
Time after time, Ryu shatters their prejudice, where the people learn to trust in the dragon's power. Ajin is a little different. He has a nickname. That name is the Destroyer of Worlds. He just might be evil and can't be trusted. If you reach the max dragon counter, which means game over, but without a very disturbing cutscene of Ajin emerging from Ryu. Could this be the reason why Ryu was chosen over Boshe? Maybe it's easier to manipulate low D ratios. We shall find out. Alright, the boys finally reached the Genic Accumulator. This was the whole goal of the mission. This is where the cargo is. I'm gonna take a quick phone call or save the game. This is the laboratory, I believe, where they make Genics, and I believe they experiment on Genics here as well, which further in the story you'll understand why we're here. I'm not even sure if this is the only laboratory, but this laboratory has always been good luck for me. Every run that I've been on has always yielded a bunch of party XP and a bunch of health items. The music here is pretty slick, and it's nice to see more colors rather than doo-doo brown, green, and blue. Now, when I was younger, this room used to disturb me a little bit, seeing these guys locked up, even though they're killers. Oh, the gummy worms. So my goal here would be to take out the big one first, of course. The big one has an attack where he can spray a toxin that can hit both of the guys at one time. So I'm gonna take him out. All of my attacks will be focused on him, and because Boshe is so fast, he will get a second turn. Not to mention I did kick one of the smaller ones. But this worm is just about finished. As a matter of fact, I thought I can finish him there, and it was just a little bit off. Oh, here we go. Here's... Okay, that's not the attack I was looking for. Or I should say, not looking for. I'm gonna take out these little guys en route. And this should be the end. Nice. So we got rid of the big worm. Now it's cleanup time. We still gotta be real careful because they have toxins as well. Those guys are too far back to do anything, so I'm not worried about them. Here is the famous toxin I spoke so highly about earlier. Now, we are in confused state, which means we don't know who the real enemy is. But Boshe, he seems to be still on target. Yikes. Spoke too soon there. So we're out of confused. Now, to me, like, if you attack each other, shouldn't that add more confusion between those guys? Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Now, the good thing about killing the worms is they yield heal kits. These are all heal kits. I should be fine. Cage, guys, I'm sorry. This place looks like somewhere Umbrella would work. As a matter of fact, I think one of the characters in this game has a Ouroboros wand. Like, look how small those cages are. How did they go to the bathroom in there? Now, I probably shouldn't say this, but they're probably used to getting pissed on by each other. It's probably nothing to them. Anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and search all of these boxes here. And of course, I'm carrying too much. This place is just too generous, so I'm gonna take a little break there. You guys didn't see that. I dropped a bunch of stuff I didn't need. Back to the hallway. Now that is the store, but I don't need it, so I'm just gonna keep going. By some miracle, we made it on time. And I was just shocked to see that there was people here waiting on the train so casually. There's monsters all over the place, and I don't know what kind of firepower they're carrying, but they must be pretty confident to be just waiting out in the open like that. So that train cart, or whatever you want to call it, that container there, it's a little weird. That's what a cargo is. It's not your typical cargo. So all the hard work paid off. We finally got the cargo. We're headed back. Mission is complete. Look at how deep underground it is. They live like a bunch of moles. But we're on our way back. You have Boshe and Ryu guarding the cargo. You know, Boshe tells him to relax. Of course, that means something's going to happen. That's always like the number one thing that happens. And he's so confident, he thinks that no one will attack them because they're rangers. But they're not the only ones that was after that cargo. That cargo is super important. So, of course, they're going to be after it. And, of course, that's why they sent such a high-ranking ranger on that job. I still don't know why Ryu's there. But here, this scene, Boshe is telling Ryu his dream. He's telling him that he wants to become regent. He said he has the qualifications, which he does. He just wants to build some kind of fame in order for it to make it easy for him to be chosen. He also says that Ryu, with his rankings, he will never make it past Grunt. But he does say, he says when he goes to the top that he will reach out and look out for Ryu, which is pretty cool. And this is like the really first time they really explain what the D ratio means. Sadly, this will be the last conversation, the last real conversation Ryu and Boshe will have. This is the beginning of the end of them seeing each other. But of course, these new enemies are on the move. They have to be extremely desperate to attack this train guarded by rangers. They have nothing to lose. It's really urgent for them to get whatever that cargo is. And Boshe has their war genics. So I'm assuming there is a different laboratory that specializes in war weaponry. The laboratory that we were in is not the same laboratory that they came from. So Ryu seems to have bad aim here. He didn't hit him even once, and they seem to disappear. There's no sign of him until here. Ouch. I have no idea how they survived that. So the reason why Ryu was able to survive that rocket blast and fell from I don't know how many thousands of feet is because the dragon lent him his power. At this point, Ryu will fully awaken the dragon powers. And again, he repeats himself and says that he chose Ryu. So Ryu is fine. He's restored back to health. But now he's alone. He doesn't have the protection of that high-ranking ranger. It's time for Ryu to learn how to defend for himself. Still not fully understanding what the dragon power is and what the visions he's seen. He doesn't even know where he is and how he will get back. And even he's shocked to see that he's in one piece. But forward he must push. I think even at this point he thinks he's in heaven, or maybe even hell. He's questioning if he's alive. One thing about this game is pretty weird. It could be the most dangerous places. It could be extremely heat, extreme cold, poisonous areas. There's always a bunch of kids that run stores, entrepreneur kids. I don't know. I don't think there's an adult store owner in the game, but I think it's just weird that there's a bunch of kids in these weird locations just waiting for Ryu. We're in some kind of garbage disposal plant, and things are about to get real. This is one area that I do not like to fool with. So here is the first meeting with the cargo, and I'm just going to let this scene play out. So that wasn't the best way to display it, but Ryu has super speed now. He runs so fast that everything else looks like it's moving in slow motion. And he's able to take on this Genic, this war Genic now. So Boshe who? Nah, I'm just kidding. This is a tough fight. As a matter of fact, I've died here a bunch of times. Luckily for me, I had a couple of extra save tokens. This guy has one attack that will do almost 100 damage, and it looks like he's getting ready to charge up for it now. I am so used to Boshe now. It's just weird. I didn't use Ryu hardly at all, but I think the best course of action was for me to go ahead and build my combo up. And even as I build my combo up, I'm not doing much damage at all. So we do have dragon abilities. We still can't use the dragon form yet. But this was a good test. I just kept an eye on my health bar. And when it got to a point where I wasn't comfortable, I just healed myself like that. Oh, that's one of the attacks. He can actually do two attacks Yep, there's the second attack. Luckily, I healed myself. He's getting close. He's getting ready. He's getting ready to go. Yeah, this is going down to the wire. I gotta heal. Now, as much health as I have, it's still just me, so he can still finish me off. It's all luck. Okay, that wasn't too bad. That hurt. All right, I think it's time for you to go, sir. All right, first try.